Oh, gee.
I've been given the rosary and gospel of a young soldier who died at the front line. He was praying with it. So many young men, just so many young men, go to die. Let us pray to the Lord to give us the grace to overcome this madness of war, which is always a defeat.
Meanwhile, top German politicians also criticized remarks by Pope Francis made earlier this week calling for Ukraine to negotiate with Russia. We are now joined by DW's Thomas Sparrow from Berlin to discuss these remarks and the possibility of peace negotiations. Thomas, good to have you with us. Why are German politicians so critical of Pope Francis' remarks?
Essentially because they believe that it's not the appropriate moment for negotiations, that it's actually in Russia's hands to take away its troops from Ukraine, and that would bring peace to the situation in Ukraine. Basically, the focus from the German perspective, and not only from the German perspective, but in general, also from some of Germany's closest allies, is that Ukraine has the right to defend itself, and as such, Germany and other Western countries will continue to support militarily. Basically, what they're trying to say with that is that the focus now is not on possible peace negotiations, which could possibly only benefit Russia, but on still helping Ukraine defend itself legitimately from Russia's war of aggression.
And Thomas, has there been any discussions on possible peace negotiations to end the war in Ukraine? What's Germany's position on the matter?
Well, essentially, a negotiation is something that German politicians do view as something that could happen in the end. But it's something that could happen also when both Russia and Ukraine can see eye to eye. In other words, not now in a situation where Ukraine is still defending itself from attacks coming from Russia, where Ukraine still needs ammunition, still needs weapons from Germany, from other countries also around the world. So they do not necessarily see that the moment is appropriate for peace negotiations, and that's the reason why they criticized those remarks by Pope Francis. The question, however, if you look at those remarks, is what impact they will have not only here in Germany, where there's a considerable Catholic population, but also in other parts of the world, Latin America, Africa, where Catholicism certainly plays a very important role. So the question is, on the one hand, to what extent Germany and other countries will continue to support Ukraine politically, economically, militarily, but also whether pressure will grow, for example, in international forums for negotiations to also be considered in a more concrete way. For now, as I say, the focus, at least here in Germany, is not on those negotiations. It is more on helping Ukraine to defend itself from Russia.
Thank you, Thomas. Thomas Sparrow, political correspondent from DW, joining us from Berlin. You're watching DD India Global, still to come on the show.